Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, not to sound selfish, but this episode is all about Miis. Find heart over ocean. So the Nintendo Cartridge Society finds heart over ocean with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I'm joined, as I'm always joined, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. Mark, that was our final Zelda 2 quote.
Wow.
I don't know what we're going to do next.
I don't know either. I do like this last one. Sounds like it could be poetic, right? It's
Yes.
like find heart over ocean. The thing you love
Yes.
is over the ocean.
It's not just a hint about where to find a new heart container. It is also like encouraging you to explore and find the thing that makes you feel whole, right?
right. I mean, I think you're right that it probably is
just a hint
to a heart piece that's
Yeah.
floating over a body of water somewhere.
I mean, probably, yeah. That is likely what it is.
the
But
duality of Zelda 2.
here, I mean, yes. And I already miss it, right? We don't have the stability of Zelda 2's amazing English language script to lean on any further going forward. I assume we'll keep doing the podcast.
Yeah, but what that looks like on Tuesday,
I don't know.
yeah, neither of us know.
So I guess if you have suggestions, I don't know. Email us Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. Or Mark, I don't know if you have an alt pitch. I don't want to put you on the spot.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to put our heads together.
Yeah, because there just aren't that many. We're not going to start doing like Super NES games.
I don't think so.
It's too sophisticated by that point.
sophisticated.
And like, how many other Nintendo published NES games really have that much dialogue in them?
Yeah, and it's just we've been doing
Star Tropics?
We did. We can't become those people, can we?
What do you mean become? Yeah, so please help us. Save us from ourselves. Another way that you could save us from ourselves is head on over to patreon.com/Nintendo Cartridge Society, where if you're supporting us at the 8 or 16-bit levels, you get access to our once-a-month episodes of miniseries like NCS at the movies.
Yes, and just a couple of weeks ago, we put out an episode all about Scream 7. And for March...
With special guest Kelly Nugent.
Yes, that's right, with special guest Kelly Nugent. And then, every month we're going to see movies together in theaters, usually with a special guest, talking about them. And also, there are other miniseries up there, like NCS Arcade, where Patrick and I played games that we had never beaten before, mostly. And NCS Goes Broadway and NCS Detective Club. All of that is available at the 8 and 16-bit level. There's also stuff available at every level, including free. So head on over to the Patreon and check us out.
Another way that you can check us out is by going to Discord and chatting with us there. We have our own Discord. You can email us, Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. And then I send you an invitation. Then you get in there and you chat with all of us about the games you're playing, about the Nintendo news that's happening, about suggestions for what video game we should be stealing dialogue from to open our episodes going forward. It all happens in there. It is a fun group of interested and interesting people. All right, Mark, let's get into the topic today. Let's discuss the 10 best applications of Miis. We're still about a month away from the release of Tomodachi Life.
Yep.
Living the dream. But it is obviously a game that is so like entrenched in the idea, the concept of the Miis. And so we thought we would celebrate the Miis by discussing the 10 best ways that they've been used in Nintendo games. Actually, not necessarily exclusively.
Right. We've
yes.
each compiled a list.
Right, and we're going to come up with a top 10.
Yeah, that's right.
And when I pitched this idea, I was like, we could each come up with like 5 to 7, and then we could like come up with it. We'll have some overlap for sure, but then we'll whittle it down. And then you and I both went crazy, and we both have long lists. So, I guess, well, I mean, first of all, just like quick temp check on where you are with Miis right now. Are you excited for them to make a return in Tomodachi Life? Not that they are gone from our lives or from gaming right now, but like there hasn't been a switch to like experience that's been very me focused yet.
Yeah, I mean, and this you could argue
Still not, right?
still not, because it's a Switch game. Well, should we talk about what Miis are, where they come from?
We can, although I feel like that may intrude on some of my entries.
Well, okay, I'll try to give a high level
Sure, go ahead.
overview.
Yes.
Introduced with the Wii.
Yes.
So 20 years ago this year.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, Miis
Yes.
were introduced into our lives,
Mhm.
and they are like avatars, player avatars that you can create, and they represent you in games. They are sometimes just used as like background characters, like so on and so forth. But you could customize them, and you could have multiple on a system. So on my Wii, I had one for my friends. There were like my parents had Miis.
People's parents' Miis are a big thing on a Wii. I got my Wii in it wasn't college anymore. It was the year after college where I stayed on as in a professional capacity as a hall director. And so I still had a bunch of my college friends around, and I just have so many people that I went to college with on my on my Wii, for that very reason. But yes, my parents and several of my friends' parents, when like the Mii made trips to like other people's houses,
Totally.
like because everyone played it,
And
so,
they
yeah.
were they're pretty simple. Like
Yes.
they've gotten more sophisticated as like when they came to the Switch and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, they've remained simple. Their bodies are all the same. You could customize like their shirt color.
Right, and you can make them
Taller
taller
or
or
shorter.
or thinner or fatter. But
And,
that's it.
and
Yeah.
then but faces is where
Yes.
they were able to find a way to make it like simple
Yes.
and yet endlessly customizable. Like the things that people were able to create with those simple tools were pretty incredible. Zoidbergs mostly. There were lots of Zoidbergs.
Zoidbergs, Peter Griffins, unfortunately Hitler's. Like you see, and it is so funny how like limited the creation tools are, and how creative people got with them anyway. Especially because like Xbox did their own like player avatars a little bit after Nintendo did, and they were like undeniably better or like more realistic,
More detailed.
more detailed, more options,
Yeah.
and yet like they lack that iconic quality. They just sort of look like characterless avatars
They
of
kind
the
of look
player.
like Bratz dolls.
They
Yeah.
do look a little like Bratz dolls, and like nothing else looks like a Mii.
Yeah. Yes. There was something that just was never able to be imitated in quite the same way. So Mii's part of the Wii, a huge part of the Wii, didn't really show up on the Nintendo DS, and then for basically 10 years, Mii's were inescapable on
the Wii, the Wii U, and the 3DS.
Yes, and
Yeah.
so and then they were brought forward into the Switch, but buried, right?
Yes. And actually, I will say, you could create Mii's on the 3DS and the Wii U. It was never quite as centered as it was on the Wii, right? Like that's just where it was like you see the Me Create channel, and like that's just like you don't have to dig for it at all. It is like here's one of the base features of the console is making Mii's.
Yep. And then so on the Switch, continues into the Switch 2, but it has just like progressively become less important over time.
Yeah, yes. And every now and then they are the like main characters in games. There is no playable character but the Mii. And so what exactly are we going to bring up as like our favorite like applications of these things? Playable characters or what? I think we will just have to discover that as we go. So Mark, I think you have more of these than I do.
Yes, I have some of them that are just like in reserve where they're almost like honorable mentions.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I have. I'm happy to go first if that's what you were.
Yes,
leading up to.
that is what I was queuing up.
Okay, I'm going to start with Metroid Prime 3 Corruption.
I love this. I don't actually know what the Mii's do in that.
Yeah, so in Metroid Prime, so the thing that I want to, because you use it as your save data, like to indicate like your save data and stuff
Sure.
like that. But what I want
A common use of them.
a very
like,
common use.
Mario
Yeah.
Galaxy had that too, where like you could have a Mario head or just your Mii.
Uh-huh. Yeah, very common. But what I wanted to talk about here is that Metroid Prime 3 Corruption had like an extras menu in each save file that had unlockables that where you earned points or credits, I think they called them. You earn and spend credits by completing certain tasks in the game. And the majority of the tasks were scanning enemies like bosses, getting lore items. And as you did that, you unlocked these credits, and then you could use the credits to like buy stickers to decorate your ship with. Because a big feature of Metroid Prime 3 Corruption was like, for the first time, you get to see inside Samus's ship. You get to pilot Samus's ship.
Right.
And how that represents itself is like, you're in first person and then you're sitting at the like console, and because it's the Wii, you're using the pointer controls to like move her hand around and like touch things.
You're right.
So so you could unlock stickers to decorate your ship with, and the stickers were from like you could get them from different other Nintendo games, like a Galaxy one or whatever, depending on if you have the save data for it.
It's very funny to think of Samus decorating her the console of her ship with stickers.
Yes, but another thing you could unlock is a bobblehead.
Great.
Of your Mii. And so if you unlocked this with the credits, it would, when you sat down at the dashboard, just like like a hula girl,
right?
On the dashboard of a car, you would have a bobblehead of your Mii.
That's pretty phenomenal.
And then you could use the Wii remote to like move Samus's hand to touch it and make the head bobble.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And very silly.
Very silly. More silly than you would expect from like a Metroid game.
It's also, definitely more silly than you would expect from a Metroid game, especially so a Metroid Prime game. And especially, it's just like, of all of the places, the Miis don't often insert themselves into a like long-running series just like at some random juncture, right?
Totally.
They're usually like kicking off their own thing. But I didn't know that was a feature of Metroid Prime 3. Do you think if they were to do they must, right? If it must be that way in the trilogy.
It is that way in the trilogy,
Cool.
yes. Maybe I was gonna say maybe that's why trilogy never came to Switch, but no, it could have. It could still work.
Because we still have Miis on the Switch.
We still have Miis.
Do you think it's weird, by the way, that the Miis aren't present in Dragon Drive? I was thinking about this earlier today.
Oh, that is interesting.
Where it's like, if they just made those, even and like still like kept them as like robot people or whatever, and just like, I don't even know, right? Because they're, I'll talk about one, but there are games that do like transformations to the Miis, and so like, why not?
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, well, I don't want to step on possibly other ones, but yeah, I feel like there are uses for the Miis if they wanted to include them even today.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, so Samus's ship bobbleheads. That's a great somehow first entry on our list here. I'm going to go, it's just because we've been sort of like dancing around it, but I really do just want to talk about the original Wii Mii Maker channel.
Okay, yeah.
And the activity, like the reliably fun group activity that was making Miis on your original Wii. I already mentioned that like you can do this on every console that they've released since, including the 3DS, Wii U, Switch, and Switch 2. But all of those other platforms have a like slightly more solitary bent to them, right? You can be designing Miis on your Wii U using just the gamepad. In fact, it's a little bit easier because you can use like the stylus and stuff. And then the rest of them like could all be handheld experiences. The only way that you were making a Mii on the Wii was doing it on the TV in your living room, which means everyone else who was around had had input to be like, your nose isn't that small, right? And it's just like it's the perfect downtime activity between like you show someone Wii tennis or Wii Sports tennis, you play a couple matches and they're like, I want my own guy. And then you go in, you do it together and it's funny. Like some of the, there are some, I know I said noses earlier, but I'm just going to stick on the noses for a second. The noses are so strange. There are some of them that don't look like human noses, but you're like, you always have to try. You always got to be like, what does my dad look like with this like jagged line nose? And like, yeah, most of the Miis that I have carried with me forever come from creation on the Wii, which was so good at being a social around the TV experience. Yeah, just that Mii Maker with that music, with that incredible Mii Maker music, it's sort of just like an unforgettable feature of the Wii, and like it's just inextricable from my experience of Nintendo in 2006.
I completely agree, and it really is like it's hard to overstate how important the Miis and the Mii experience, like of building those Miis and all of that,
Yes.
was to the experience of the Wii as a whole. Like it really was all of these pieces that just they all benefited each other. Like Wii Sports
Absolutely.
having the Miis, but it was fun to make the Miis, and then all these other channels on your Switch that would use the Miis, like even just Mii Parade, where it's like, let's just see a bunch of Miis walking around.
Right. And like you would do this also with your friends where you'd be like, we just made our Mii. Should we upload one of our Miis to the Mii Parade or to Check Me Out channel? Or, I don't know if we're gonna mention those in our other things here, but like the act and like the thing that was like I cannot express really how motivating it was, where you're like, yes, we need to make more Miis. We need to populate this system with Miis.
Well, I am going to, I guess, like piggyback off of that a little bit because one of the things that was so fun, especially in the Wii era, is you had a system full of Miis now, right?
Yes.
Like you said, Miis that your friends had made, that you had imported from other systems, from like exchanging them with friends or
you could do via, you could store a Mii inside a Wii remote. And now obviously you can store them inside Amiibo as well to move them around, which is awesome. I think you can put them in a Joy-Con. Is that true?
I don't know.
I think you can.
Yeah, that could be true.
Anyway, go on.
But so you had all these Miis on the system, and then Nintendo like leaned into using them because they had this huge ecosystem of like Wii titles, but not just using them like as playable characters, but using them as background characters.
The background Mii characters are clutch, and they are at this point time travel.
Yeah.
Right? If I play Mario Kart 7 or Mario Kart Wii on my Wii U, it will still populate the background of Coconut Mall with my friends from college.
Yeah, and that's so fun. I mean, even like when it wasn't time travel, it was still so fun to be like, oh, that, like Michael Jackson Mii that I downloaded is now just in, the mall walking around, or in the in the bleachers in the outfield in Wii Sports or something.
Right.
Like that, it was such a fun use of it, and a lot of games did that. Not even like Nintendo first-party games. A lot of games would just use Miis in the background of like crowd scenes and stuff like that to fill it out.
So, are we just calling this background Miis?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's such a good use of these things. I have one that may be sort of like subset of this,
Okay.
like a specific use of the Miis as kind of background characters that I think achieve something very specific. So
Okay.
I don't know if we want to count it as sub this or its own item. And it is in WarioWare Smooth Moves. There are a handful of microgames where the Miis feature. They also act as like the player avatars in the multiplayer modes that unlock. But their inclusion as like background elements in the microgames is so surreal, right? The thing with any WarioWare game is that like it is doing an insane job of trying to communicate the premise of a game in like nanoseconds, and they favor like surreality and readability in these things where you like can't quite understand what you're seeing, but you do understand what you're supposed to do. And when you see the face of a person in that context, it becomes all the more surreal. So I'm just going to go down the micro games that use the Miis. So there's Wario PI, where you're using like a magnifying glass to like focus in on something. Sometimes it's a Mii. There's the toilet training one, where you're directing people to like the right toilet based on their gender, and that uses your Miis on your system for that. There's one called Outcast, where it shows 4 Miis, and one of them is just like a little bit different than the others. So like it takes one of your friends or whoever you have on there and tweaks just one of them. The Elephant, Spring Training, Armed and Dangerous, Boot Camp, and Bungie all use your Miis. Sometimes it's the player Mii. Sometimes it is just like the other Miis in there. And there's, I mean, the pleasures of WarioWare, right?
Right.
Where you're just like, what is happening?
Uh-huh.
And to have a what is happening with the face of your friend stapled on it is like incredible.
Especially like you were saying, because it doesn't happen all the time.
Yes.
It's just occasional.
It's also even in these games. So like the Wario PI, where you're zooming in on an object with a magnifying glass, it's not always a Mii. Sometimes it's just like a cube or like a slice of pizza or something. Just funny that sometimes it's your mom.
Yeah. No, I think that's great. I think we should keep it as a separate entry.
Great.
But my next pick. So I don't really know necessarily how to account for this because it's kind of like, I don't know, you could argue that it's a lot of games that do this. Let me just start.
Yeah.
Here's where I want to go with this, and I think that like Wii Sports and Wii Fit are 2 really good examples of it.
Okay.
But they did it a lot in the Wii era, where like your Mii is your player avatar.
Yes.
Like you are playing as yourself and you are doing it as a Mii. But there's something specific. I mean, obviously Wii Sports did that, and Wii Sports is why most people probably made Miis in the first place. But I feel like there's something really specific about Wii Fit being that.
Yes,
because
it's tracked to your actual weight. Your score is based on a thing that is your body, is not something in the game. Yeah, I have something that's like a step to the side of this that we'll talk about afterwards. But there was also like a 3DS like pedometer like walk training game, which was very similar, where like your Mii in the game represented you, but the actual you, and not like your player character in the game.
Right. It's it's like the actual you. And when you're in Wii Fit, when you are doing like not all the exercises used like a Mii as an avatar, but a lot of them did. And it's like, as you did the movements,
right,
the
you
Mii
saw you do it on screen.
Yeah, and there's just something really specific about that I think is a really interesting and good use of Miis.
Yeah, and it's that's the kind of thing that I like couldn't. I was trying to figure out why Ring Fit Adventure doesn't use even a modified Mii.
Right.
That like they could just like put that face on like the body, but they just seemingly have no interest in that. We're just like, no, you pick like, a male or female, workout person. And there were probably some other, you could change like color of hair and skin and stuff. But, generally, I just, yeah, it's weird to introduce, a avatar character that is you, that is not a me.
Well, it would have been. I don't know
It
that
would
it
have been,
is
right.
anymore.
Right,
You
you're right.
know, that weird. And maybe for Ring Fit Adventure specifically, because the workouts are so like they're much more dynamic than what they were tracking with Wii Fit, that they needed
Yeah.
the bodies to be more realistic.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, make that game 10 years earlier.
And it totally would have had Miis.
Yeah, totally would have had Miis.
So I just wrote that down as avatars that are the player.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it.
So my sort of like sideways approach to that is when the Mii is the player avatar in a game where the character that the Mii is interacting with is the main personality of the game. So the Mii is the blank slate that is you, right?
Uh-huh.
But it's there so it can interact with Rusty Slugger.
Oh,
Or
yes.
the Nintendo Badge Arcade Bunny, or Pikmin and Pikmin Bloom, right? Like these are all examples where like the charismatic reason that you're interacting with this thing at all is not the player character, but you in the game needs to interact with this character or this concept in the case of Pikmin. And like, again, those are ways in which like within the world of Rusty's Real Deal Baseball, you are playing baseball video games. That's within the fiction. And then out here in the real world, I am also playing baseball video games. And ditto the Badge Arcade, and in Pikmin Bloom, it's I am going for a walk. So you can help me determine whether this is a separate category of thing or if it's just a richer expression of the one that you already laid out.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Or just adds to it.
Right. No, I know what you're saying. Yeah, that's interesting because in some ways I do feel like it's different, because one thing that from like we'll say my entry is that it's like mimicking almost 1-to-1 your own actions. It's supposed to be like I am looking in a mirror and the mirror is showing M-I-I, me.
Yes. M-I-M-I-I.
But in your examples, you like that character represents you, but is not necessarily doing like a 1-for-1
but like
it's mirror type thing. But I guess
I mean,
in
Pikmin Bloom it is.
Yeah.
But the thing that like just struck me so as like unique about those three in particular is that like, because in Wii Sports, the thing that's like kind of interesting about it is like you're doing sports. In Wii Fit, you're being doing balance board exercises. The hook or like the interesting thing about Pikmin Bloom is that you are interacting with Pikmin, right? You are interacting with Rusty Slugger. You are interacting with the Nintendo Badge Arcade Bunny. And like in so doing, you are performing these other game mechanics. But the thing, it's almost like the Mii doesn't need to be there, right? Like if Rusty is just addressing you directly and there's no Mii there representing you, it's the same experience.
Yeah.
Whereas like you need to be physically embodied somehow in Wii Sports or Wii Fit, right? And just not necessarily true in the rest of these. I think they're probably all the same basic idea.
Okay.
But now we've just added like some shading and some like nuance
some additional
to
flavor. Yeah. Great. Does that bring it back
to you?
me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna pick another like specific in-game example where you use a Mii, and that's in Animal Crossing City Folk, which is a Wii game, but also in Animal Crossing New Leaf, which was on the 3DS. And so if in those games, if you if you go to Harriet at Shampoodle, they can give you a makeover. And in City Folk, it's called Makeup. That's the option. And in New Leaf, I feel like this is a step down, but clear as to what it is. You can select Mii Mask. And as the name suggests,
yes,
when you choose these options, you spend 3,000 bells, and then you can choose a Mii that's on your system, and it will transform you into that Mii. And you can't wear hats. You can't, there's like accessories that you can't put on
right,
while you have this like makeup on.
And I would assume it's just the head.
It is. It's just the head, yeah. And like if you get stung by bees, your face doesn't change, even though the villagers react to you as if you were stung by bees. But you do have facial expressions. You're not like a
that's
Pokemon
nice.
NPC.
Yeah, that's nice.
Where you're just, like standing there, pie-eyed and white-faced.
Which is always true of Miis, right? Like the Miis, even though you customize stuff on them, they do emote.
Yes, that's right.
Which is important.
So yeah, just like another like fun way to include them in a game, and another way to make yourself even more like literally present in Animal Crossing.
Yeah, which is important. Like the self-insert nature of like you being that villager in Animal Crossing, I think is like a crucial part of those games. And yeah, why not just marry it with the Miis that are already on your system? Very good, Mark. I like that one. Didn't know about it at all. I am now going to, maybe you know about this one because I think I've talked about it on the show. But my next entry here is Amimoles in Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers. So the word that I'm saying here is it's like animals, but the word me is crammed in there awkwardly. It's Amiimals, Amimoles. And this is the feature or whatever by which in this game, and this is your main playable character, it starts off by being like, you pick your Mii, and then they throw the Mii into a barrel, and you have to push the A button 40 times to make the Mii escape the barrel. And when they escape the barrel, they have transformed into one of 10 different animals.
That's great.
So it's like an anthropomorphic, like sort of Star Fox style animal. You can be a bear, a bull, a cat, a duck, a fox, a mouse, a rabbit, a sheep, a tiger, or a wolf. And if you're not happy with your animal transformation, which is at random, you can re-roll it, and then they throw you back in the barrel, and you got to push the A button a bunch of times again. But so that's fun. That like it, and it's like neat to see how they transform the Miis. For a lot of them, it's just like. A duck obviously has like a bill, but most of these have like snouts and ears that are like just a little bit different than it would be on like the normal Mii. But so in addition to doing that to your Mii, it populates the background of the game, like the NPCs, and also recruitable gunner characters to help you out, like in the missions of Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers, with the other Miis that are just idly on your system. And at the time that I was playing Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers, I was in the habit of making I was doing a lot with Andy Daly's characters from the Andy Daly podcast pilot project and making Miis of all of them. And so like I had this moment where I was recruiting a gunner, and it was a little mouse who looks like Andy Daly, the comedian. And he goes, "I'm Andy Daly," which is just like a surreal experience to have Andy Daly, the mouse, offering to be my gunner on the next run in Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers. And I just like there. I wish there were more use of Amimoles to transform Miis into animal characters.
That's so fun. Is it Memoles, like AMM, or An Memoles?
No, so it is Amimoles. AMIIMALS.
Oh, I see. Confusing.
Yeah.
That's a really fun one. Amimoles
in Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers. Which is not actually a very good game, but the presence of a bunch of furry Miis kind of makes up for it.
Well, maybe this is not one of my entries because I have not played this game, but I feel like so let me know if I'm stepping on your toes here at all. But this is like an honorable mention that I think it's worth calling out, even though I don't know it'd make either of our lists because I don't think either of us played it. But York's,
Miitopia?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, Miitopia,
Not on my list. No.
which is like a game built around those kind of like surprising use of Miis and putting Miis in like silly situations and making it very memeable because, you know, your mom, your dad, your friend, Andy Daly are, you know, doing this ridiculous thing
Right.
inside this like RPG experience. And I feel like Tomodachi Life, the first game, could also fall into that. I don't think either of us have played it.
Right.
But I feel like it's probably like worth honorable mentioning. Just won't make our list out of like
just
lack
that we haven't played
experience.
them. Yeah. Well, and you know, we are doing this sort of in anticipation of Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. So like we're open, our hearts are open to it.
Our
We just
hearts
neither
are
of us embraced Miitomo, Miitopia, or the what was the no, did I say it already? Miitomo. Right?
Yeah.
Right. And Tomodachi Life. Miitomo was the phone version of that, basically. Okay, great. All of those mentioned as honorable mentions, even though that's not going to be on any of our lists for real. All right, Mark, I think back to you.
Okay. I'm going to talk about Street Pass Mii Plaza.
Great.
And I guess just Street Pass in general on the 3DS. What a great feature as you were walking around in the world in your life. If you had your 3DS and you had your 3DS on like in sleep mode, you could just passively receive Miis from people out in the wild.
And then when you would check back in on it, there was just like a line of Miis lined up to talk to you.
Yeah, and they would say like where they're from and like all this stuff. And then they were on your system. They just were like part of your Mii collection. And then there was software on the game called Mii Plaza. And in Mii Plaza, there were these different mini games that you could play that used like the Miis that you found and encouraged you to find more Miis, because there was one that was called like Puzzle Swap. And the way that it worked is that there were a ton of different like 3D puzzles representing different games and franchises. And then like you might have earned some pieces, and you might swap with someone who has a piece that you're missing from a puzzle. And so you could then, like, let's say they had two pieces. You could choose one of those pieces to get from them. So it just had a bunch of like things like that. The one that I thought was the most interesting, because there were some DLC ones that came later that I never bought, but there was Street Pass Quest. It was called Find Me in the US.
Yes.
And this is like a little RPG-esque thing where your Mii character, that is like your avatar on the system, is captured. And so you have to go basically like through like a dungeon crawler, but the Miis on your system can level up depending on, you know, like and so
Yeah.
they become like your soldiers to take on the enemies inside the dungeons. And it was just, and you earned hats as you went through and all this kind of stuff that you could decorate your Miis with.
It's an incredibly like linear, like you're not really even making decisions. Just like the guys level up as they go through.
Right, it's like
an adventure on their own, basically.
Yeah. And it's you know, just one mission after another.
Right.
Like you're not making decisions about where you're going or anything like that. It's very linear. But I just thought that was like such a fun use. So I guess it's almost like two. Street Pass in and of itself is like an amazing use of Miis, and then Street Pass like Mii Plaza is just like the cherry on top of Street Pass.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of just like the built-in functionality on the 3DS, right? Of the Miis, and like it's just. I mean, I know why Street Pass isn't a thing on Switch, because like you know it saves battery life and it's just like better for the performance of the thing overall. But like the fact that there's no like just built-in thing that unifies the Switch player base, and like I guess it didn't need it because it had Breath of the Wild, then eventually Animal Crossing and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, whereas like these are all games that like everyone played anyway. So like we don't need to have this free to play thing that we are all unified through having Miis. But yeah, it does feel like those are a single thing, or like a unified concept, the Street Pass and the Mii Plaza.
And I think it's such a bummer that it wasn't on the Switch. I mean, I don't know that it was necessarily for performance reasons. If I had to guess, it's because they were just de-emphasizing that sort of like
right. Yeah,
whimsical
that's true.
experience when it came to the Switch. But there were so many Switches that it would have
Right.
been probably so much more likely to get Street Passes
Yeah.
than ever on the 3DS. Because my experience was like, outside of maybe when I was traveling, I would have it in my backpack. But, I didn't get a lot of Street Passes where with the Switch, I just feel like there were so many more people with Switches that it would have been
Yeah.
such a cool experience.
Well, you and I were both like living in LA as adults when we got our 3DSs. If I was still in college, if I was living in Chicago where I was like taking public transportation
Yeah,
all the time,
totally.
like
That's a good
I think
point.
my experience of it would have been a little different. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, I only got street passes when I would take it to like a convention or on like the airport or whatever. I tried to street pass the other day when we went to the movies, but I did not get any, which is fine. But yeah, it's that is something that I am nostalgic about for sure. All right. Should I do something like very specific here? I'm gonna do something very specific.
Okay.
Here. And I am going to talk about the Mii racers in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So or Mario Kart 8 and then Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So they're kind of twofold here, interesting. One is that the Mii racers are, in terms of gameplay, effectively three characters, because you can have a lightweight, medium weight, or heavyweight character depending on how big or little you make the Mii in the first place. But also, aesthetically, there are 21 amiibo Mii costumes that you can scan amiibos in to unlock, and so you can dress up your Miis in all these different costumes based on characters that are and are not in the game.
Cool.
So I'm gonna read through all 21 characters very quickly. Mario, Peach, Yoshi, Donkey Kong, Luigi, Link. Fine, whatever. All those characters are in the game. Who cares? Captain Falcon, cool, right? Kirby, Samus, Fox, all great characters that aren't actually in the game otherwise. Toad, yeah, sure. Bowser, Wario, Rosalina, whatever. Olimar, the Olimar one has a Pikmin sticking to the helmet.
That's fun.
They're really cute. Animal Crossing, Mega Man. Mega Man is in Mario Kart 8. Do people know this? Pac-Man, Sonic, Inkling. Fine, the Inklings are in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and Daisy. Okay, Daisy's already in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But what a fun way to like expand the roster. Conceivably by 63 characters.
Yeah, that's
to have
cool.
the 3 different weight classes and the 21 different amiibo costumes. Yeah. And then multiply that by the number of Miis on your system.
Well, do you think that we should, because I didn't have that one on my list, but I did have Mii fighters from Smash Brothers 4.
That has to be a separate entry.
Okay.
It has to, because I also have it.
Okay.
And we will talk about it.
Because they are so, well, let's talk about it now, because
great.
that was going to be my next one. Well, actually, I mean, as long as we feel like we've said everything we want to say about the Mario Kart ones.
I guess the only thing that I will add about Mario Kart is that, like, kind of weird that they're not on Mario Kart World. Do you not think that's weird? You think it's okay?
Well, just because Mario Kart World is such a break from the past,
Sure.
that it makes sense to me that they wouldn't like kind of bring some of that legacy stuff forward.
Yeah. Okay. That is fair. The one thing I will say that in 8 Deluxe they stopped putting the Miis in as background characters. They did that on Mario Kart Wii. Did Mario Kart Wii also have
Mii Racers? It did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
But I think I still want to call out specifically 8 because of the amiibo costumes.
I mean, that's cool.
It's just so much cooler.
Mega Man in Mario Kart.
Mega Man. The Pac-Man one has a Pac-Man maze on the helmet, and so that's like not playable, obviously, but it's animated. So like an 8-bit Pac-Man will like go around the back of it. It's crazy.
That's fun.
It's so cool.
Yeah, I have never. I don't like I don't have the amiibo to unlock these.
I have
And
all of
so-
those amiibo except
Yeah.
the Sonic one because I don't have a Sonic amiibo. Which did I tell you about this? When Sarah's nieces were in town for last Christmas, we made like a stopover at the they were staying in an Airbnb nearby. We like came back to the apartment to get something, just me and the girls, and I was like, well, we're here, we're gonna scan in these amiibo so you can and they were so excited to do it. We had a blast.
That's so good. Okay, so let's talk about the Mii fighters
Let's
introduced
talk about
in
'em.
Super Smash Brothers 4 and also carried forward into Ultimate. Um,
So 3 different versions of the game,
yeah, because there was the 3DS version,
right?
the Wii U version, and then of course Ultimate on the Switch. So introduced Mii fighters, which takes your fighter, a Mii on your system,
Yes.
and introduces it as a like combatant in Super Smash Brothers. But there are variations available to you.
And it's not just like some variations, it is a staggering amount of variation to the Mii fighters. Because the first choice you have to make is who is the Mii that you're using. Second choice is, are they a sword fighter? Are they a brawler? Or are they a gunner? So those are 3 different, like totally different Smash Brothers character types.
Yep.
But then all of their special moves have 3 different versions. So you get to decide which of those special moves are assigned to them.
And then, like you were talking about in Mario Kart, like depending on how like the weight you set your Mii or like how tall you made
Yep.
your Mii, that affected what weight class they were in. In the game, depending on how tall, how big they are, it also changes like how high they can jump. Like all of that stuff is taken into account
Yes.
as well.
So the thing that is the thing that I find so kind of compelling about them in Smash 4 is that that selecting and like customizing the special moves thing was so prevalent that you could, or was such a like motivating idea behind that game that you could do that to literally any character in the game. Like Mario had alternate special moves, down special, up special, tilt special, right? And they would have to be unlocked through these like crazy means. And of course, like you couldn't use a customized fighter in like a tournament or whatever, or bring them online, but you could barely do anything online in Smash 4 anyway. But like that the ethos of building your fighter through the Mii fighter was just so prevalent that it spilled out into all the other characters.
Yeah, I mean that is a crazy part of Smash 4 where it's like, oh no, I have like my Mario fighter.
Right.
Yeah.
And it, man, I did not do a lot of work on this in Smash 4 Wii U, but Smash for 3DS, I was like, how long would it take me to like actually get all of, because you have to like earn them through like special little achievements to unlock all of the additional moves or the alternate moves for everyone. And like the most efficient way to do it was in the, do you remember what it's called? It was like the adventure mode in the 3DS one where
Oh, I don't.
you go into like a big like Kid Icarus-esque sort of like 2D platforming thing. That was the most likely place that you could find more of those special moves. And I remember just committing like hours and hours and hours to it and being like, okay, great, I got 2. And like sometimes they're duplicates. So it would just like take forever. And so like the economy of it was messed up for all the other characters, but the Mii fighters, it's just that customizability is built into it.
And then was it in Smash 4 or was it in Ultimate when they started doing like DLC costumes for?
Yeah, no, they did it in 4 as well. Yeah. So yeah, to your to my point earlier about the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Mii's having all these amiibo costumes. These were never amiibo costumes, but like you could just buy costumes that would like really radically transform the way that your amiibo looked. Sometimes with items from other video games. And in 2 cases, introducing more pieces of music to the game too, right?
Right.
Because there's the Sans from Undertale, and then Cuphead also had like music associated with them too. So I mean, the Mii fighter, the Mii fighters in Smash are kind of like a catch-all, right?
Yeah.
But that's also what the Mii is supposed to be, right? The Mii is supposed to be like inclusive and creative and welcoming and like whatever you need it to be. If you want to put a Zelda hat on it, you can do that to a Mii. That's fine.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I love the Mii fighters. Mii fighters also means that we got our first ever Mii amiibos.
Yeah, that's right.
First and
That's
only.
right.
They've never done, because it would be kind of tough to do Mii amiibos for like kind of anything else, but yeah, kind of remarkable. Is that then back to me?
Yep.
Mark, you and I had a very I would say positive experience playing Wii Music together many years ago. We bought it, a copy of Wii Music for an episode of this show.
A really early episode.
A pretty early episode of the show. And
our most started episode.
Yes, I think
of all time.
People search for Wii Music wanting to hear music that was played on the Wii. Then they get the two of us being like, I liked playing Wake Me Up Before You Go. So I get why people are disappointed. I get it. But it was also a good episode because I feel like I had never heard people talking about Wii Music on like the terms that of what that game is.
Mm-hmm.
Wii Music is, I wrote this paragraph here, it's a strange act of strangled expression made all the stranger by the fact that you're watching music videos that you made of yourself playing the music on whatever instrument you chose. It's not a rhythm game. It's not music composition. It's a bizarre mashup of pantomime and karaoke. And the only reason that it reads as funny or charming at all is because the character on screen looks like a doofy version of you.
It's so true. That's so true.
Like it is a wholly bizarre experience to play the game.
I still hold the Wii Music is a little bit ahead of its time.
Yes.
It just needed the ability to share videos.
Yes. If you could post these things on Instagram or whatever, it would have lasted a little bit longer.
A little bit longer, because you're right, the videos are so bizarre because you're not making choices as to what like the choreography of the video is going to be.
You choose like a setting, right?
Maybe I need to go back and listen to our Wii Music episode. I can't remember.
Yeah. I think you choose like the setting of where you're playing.
Okay.
And then what instruments are going to be playing in it.
I think that's true for sure. Yes.
And the instruments could be any instruments that are in the game.
Uh-huh.
Which is to say basically every orchestral instrument or like rock band instrument is present here. And then it's all like, a lot of public domain stuff. And then just like, Wake Me Up Before You Go was an example. That was an actual song that was in there.
But you're right. I remember having a lot of fun. And I think that episode is a very positive look at Wii Music.
Yes.
Like, I think we're pretty complimentary in it.
Yeah. And like, I do get where it's something they trot on stage as like a main, like a centerpiece of their E3 presentation.
Totally.
Total mistake.
Yeah.
But as like a fun, weird thing to do with friends.
For like 2 hours.
For like 2 hours once and then record a podcast about. Pretty good. All right. Mark, what now?
Okay. I think this might be my last one. And it's in Super Mario Brothers U, you could play as a Mii, only in certain modes. And this, I think, is the ultimate fault of this. You could play as Miis in Coin Rush, in Boost Rush, and in challenge modes. And you could have, like, up to 4 people playing. Not all of them had to be Miis. You could have a mix of, like, Mario's in there running around with your Miis. But they didn't allow you to do it in like adventure mode and story mode.
It
cowardly. Couldn't be your
that
Mii
is cowardly.
That was saving Princess Peach and stuff. And
so that was New Super Mario Brothers Wii.
You
okay.
But I still think that it's a fun idea that you can run around as a Mii in a Mario game. Look, the reason we like Mario games is because you're running around as Mario. I'm not denying that at all.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Like those.
Although some people got really excited to see that like Daisy was playable in Wonder, right? So like the I do think people still want to like play with the characters that aren't just Mario. I guess.
Yes. No. Totally. Totally. But I just think it would have been nice if you could play the story mode as like whatever, like rule they have about that. I say abolish that rule.
Yeah, I say let's strike that rule. It's no good, especially because like the aesthetic of New Super Mario Brothers is so like flat and whatever anyway. Like there's nothing adventurous or exciting about what you're seeing from the characters in New Super Mario Brothers U. So yeah, why not let them be Miis?
Yeah.
The Toads and the Mario and the Luigi all play the exact same. So what does it matter? That is a great one. I think, do I have anything left, Mark? So I do think we have like a blanket category here that hits this. But I think we would be remiss not to just say Wii Sports.
Yeah. Oh, yes, for sure.
And in my notes here, I just wrote self-explanatory.
Yeah.
That like Wii Sports is one of the like all-time most impactful video games ever. And in no small part due to the fact that it's populated with little dudes that look like you.
Yeah, and I think like the success of all of those things are interlinked. The success of the
Absolutely.
Wii to the Miis to the to Wii Sports, it was all just this like self-perpetuating machine
Yes.
that made the entire experience like what it was.
Which like man, when Nintendo lands that trifecta where it's like the first piece of software and the system itself like are seemingly made for each other and they reinforce what's fun about the other. Like the Wii, that it feels like it's three things, right? It's the Miis, it's the motion controls, and it's Wii Sports. And none of them work on their own, but they all are super exciting together. And like, that's one of the things that we talk about with the success of the original Switch, where it's like this thing is pitched on the idea that you play it any way you want. And the game that they launch it with is Breath of the Wild, a game that you play any way you want. And it's just like, it's such perfect, like, mental emotional synergy that it becomes a fire, right? And it's something that like is not true of the Wii U or of the 3DS and not of the Switch too. That like there's not the perfect piece of software that expresses what is different about this thing.
Yeah, isn't it interesting that that seemingly happens like when they really need it to?
Yeah,
like when it comes in clutch, like coming out of the GameCube
right
to the Wii, coming out of the Wii U into the Switch. Because yeah, like, but there are examples of them trying, but you just can't fake it. You can't force it. Like Nintendo Land for Wii U, not a bad game, set up to be that kind of like Wii Sports experience that shows off.
Right.
But it has to, like, all the parts have to equally, like all parts of that triangle have to like equally balance themselves out.
Right.
Like they all have to be amazing for that to work.
Yeah, well, and there's also just like that sort of like an indefinable quality that it's like I don't even like you can plan for it, but like how do you know that it works until it does?
Yeah, maybe she's born with it.
And maybe it's Mario 64, right? Like that's like because I think that's another example, right? Of like Mario 64, the controller, and Nintendo 64 all like landing perfectly together, and you're just like, yep, this thing makes perfect sense, and everything we do from here on out is going to be chasing this specific alchemy.
Yeah.
And we'll get there from time to time, but it's really those opening snapshots that do it.
Yeah, definitely worth calling out as its own item here.
That's all I have. Those are all of my candidates here. So how many do we have? And do we have to trim it down?
So we have 13.
We have 13. Okay. So we just need to we need to eliminate 3 of these. But let's just quickly review what the 13 that we have are.
Okay.
So first up we have Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, Samus's Ship bobbleheads.
Then we have the Wii Mii Maker channel.
Then we have Miis in the background Miis.
kind of a corollary to that, WarioWare Smooth Move Miis.
Should we just eliminate that one now and just sort of think of it as part of the background Miis?
Yeah, we'll make it a sub bullet point.
Okay, great. Avatars that are the player, to include also the games where your avatar is interacting with like the charming, charismatic main character of the game who's not the player character, like Rusty's Real Deal Baseball.
Animal Crossing City Folk or New Leaf, the makeup / Mii mask capability.
Amimoles in Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers.
Street Pass and Mii Plaza on the Nintendo 3DS.
Mario Kart 8 and 8 Deluxe Mii Racers.
Super Smash Bros. 4, Mii Fighters, and of course the Mii Amiibo.
Yep. Then Wii Music.
Then being able to play as Miis in New Super Mario Bros. U.
And Wii Sports. So we still have to eliminate 2 of these.
So I think New Super Mario Bros. U is an easy cut.
Yeah. A game that I played a lot of, didn't know you could play as a Mii. I love it, but does Metroid Prime 3 Corruption Samus's ship bobbleheads also go?
Yeah, it's not that impactful.
I'm so glad that you brought it up, and it's very funny, but I feel like it kind of falls in the same category as like it's another background Mii.
Yes,
right?
Completely agree.
So like if we wanted to do that as a sub, like another bullet point, just as like an honorable mention.
Oh sure, yeah. Let's do that. Let's do that.
So it's another bullet point within background Miis. So now I think it's just up to us to rank these things. So all right, the Mii Maker channel, background Miis, avatars that are the player, Animal Crossing, the makeup or Mii mask, Amimoles, Street Pass and Mii Plaza, Mario Kart 8, Mii Racers, Super Smash Bros. 4, Mii Fighters, and the Mii Amiibos, Wii Music, Wii Sports. So go ahead.
I was going to say, starting from the top, I think Wii Sports
I do
should
too.
be number 1.
It's hard to imagine anything else being number 1.
And I kind of think that the Mii Maker channel is probably number 2.
I agree with you, Mark. I think that's right. And again, it's the thing that made the Wii, and those are the two the 2 best uses.
Yeah.
I agree. Those are 1 and 2. I sort of think the bottom here are probably, and I don't know which order, the Animal Crossing Animal Crossing and the Amimoles from Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers.
I think that's right for sure.
Maybe the Amimoles are last. Maybe they're number 10.
Oh, I was going to put them above Animal Crossing. Only because when we were talking about Amimoles, we were also talking about like Miitopia and stuff. And so maybe that bumps it up a little bit. But I mean, there is something to being able to be yourself in Animal Crossing, but also you do have an avatar character.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
The Mii in Animal Crossing is sort of redundant.
Right.
So maybe that is number 10.
Okay.
It's a very good point that like the Amimoles and Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers represents putting Miis into a more traditional like core game experience and transforming the characters for a core gamer experience, albeit in a pretty watered down way. Okay, so those 2 are the bottom, which means we still have to sort.
And I think Wii Music probably right above those.
That's a great point. Yes,
is good placement.
Just because we can't be on record boosting Wii Music all too
but maybe I'll put it in the title of this episode.
Okay, great. All right. What about so I think because it's so tied to Wii Sports, maybe avatars that are the player should be number 3.
Okay. Yeah.
And just like I think about how much obviously we've been playing Pikmin Bloom now for years, and that's every time I open that app, I see an amiibo of me.
And then I kind of think, from my experience, that background Miis are would go next, would be 4th possibly.
Yes, just because what a fun experience that is to just like
Yeah,
see
that passive
Yes.
use of those characters.
that you forget that they're going to be there and then they
Uh-huh.
show up is really something special. All right. So that's number 4. 5, 6, and 7, and they have to be Street Pass, the Mario Kart 8 racers, and the Mii fighters in Smash.
So I would maybe leave them in this order: Street Pass, Mario, or maybe I would do Street Pass, then Mii Fighters, and then Mii Racers.
Right. So I think I would almost put the Street Pass at the bottom of these 3.
Okay.
I feel like I just spent less time with it.
Uh-huh.
So it's maybe less important to me personally. Although I don't think there's a bad order to put these 3 in.
I don't think
They're definitely middle of the pack.
they are definitely middle of the pack. I would say maybe Mii Fighters are the most impactful of these 3.
Yes. Yeah, just because, again, like to reiterate, the customizability of those characters seeped into every other character in the game in a totally used, under even reported feature of that game. But then, yeah, let's put the Street Pass Mii Plaza next, and then the Mario Kart 8 Mii Racers.
This is just for myself. I think that it's really cool that they're in there, especially in like Mario Kart Wii, because Wii's were such a big part of that system. But I feel like they're interlopers in a way where, like, in Super Smash Brothers, it's like, yeah, okay, like anything could show up in Super Smash Brothers.
Yeah.
So Mii's being there are fine with me. I don't love it as much in Mario Kart.
Even by 8 Deluxe, because by 8 Deluxe, I'm like, whatever, everything.
Sure, Mercedes is, or like, there's just
Sure.
So yeah, like no,
Well, there are Inklings and like Link,
right, and like villagers and stuff. I don't hate it.
Right.
I don't think it's a disgusting idea that makes me want to vomit or anything like that.
Kind of sounds like maybe that is what
I just
you
don't.
think about
I
'em.
just don't like it as much as the
It
other.
makes you want to vomit.
as the other 2 things.
Okay, so should we count these from 10 to 1?
Let's do it.
Okay, number 10, the 10th best use of amiibo in a Nintendo game is Animal Crossing City Folk and New Leaf, the either makeup or Mii mask.
Number 9 is Amimals.
There you go.
In Dylan's Dead Heat Breakers, and also in Miitopia.
Sure,
and
the sort of
Tomodachi Life.
yes,
Yeah, uh-huh.
they extended out into that. Although primarily we're talking about Dylan,
Yes,
Daddy
yeah,
Breakers,
yeah,
and,
yeah.
and the Amimals.
Yes.
I think it's important that the Amimals get shouted out, and that everyone listening adds the word Amimals to your vocabulary of things that you can talk about when you talk
Here's
about
something
Nintendo.
that's throwing me off about the spelling of Amimals, because it
Yes.
sounds like there should be 2 M's. It sounds like it should be AMMII.
Why?
I don't know.
Because the word animal would be AN. If you were really to just like put it in there to substitute the second syllable, it would be Amimals.
There's something about saying it that like AM that makes me. It's like Amimals, but it's not that, right? It's Amimals.
Yeah.
One.
I mean, or is it closer to amiibo? So it's like Amimals,
Oh, it's probably Amimals.
but they're not amiibo though.
Oh, you're right. They're not Amiibo.
So
They're
I think
Miis.
I think they're Amimals.
I think you're right. Okay, so that's number.
Amimals. That's number 9.
That's number 9.
Number 8 is Wii Music.
Number 7 is Mario Kart 8 Mii Racers.
Number 6 is Street Pass and Mii Plaza.
Number 5 is Super Smash Bros. 4 Mii Fighters and the Mii Amiibo.
Number 4 are the background Miis.
Number 3 are avatars that are the player.
The player is the avatar. Number 2 is the Wii Mii Maker channel.
And number 1, Wii Sports.
I think we nailed this, Mark. Let's close this out. But if you, listener, have Mii experiences that we have not touched on here, email us, Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. I do. So, like, there is I assume that you visited it today in preparation for this, but there is a Mii Wiki.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Which is, I really had to think about how to say that. Mii Wiki. Not a wee Mickey.
And not a Mickey.
Not a Mickey. But the list of games that includes them, including not first-party games, sort of staggering.
Yeah, extensive. One of the ones that I didn't include it because I didn't experience it, but in like Madden 09, like whatever they called it, all play or whatever.
Yeah.
There like John Madden as a Mii shows up to gives you tips.
And that's pretty good.
I mean, that is pretty good, right?
Yeah. Well, and remember there's that whole E3 moment where Satoru Iwata and Reggie Fils-Aimé become Mii fighters and fight each other in Smash.
Oh, yeah. And I think, was it for Miitomo in like a Nintendo Direct where they were all circling a Virtual Boy being like, all hail the Virtual Boy.
Yes. Not only were Mii's able to be the avatars for the players, they managed to be the avatars for the front-facing executives at Nintendo to market to us. So,
and then it's just so funny that it's like, and now they are basically
wiped off the map.
Yeah, except I guess with Tomodachi Life.
That's true. That's true. We keep talking about them like we're burying them, but like they're putting out a new game that we've seen in 3 different Nintendo Directs.
Yeah.
So make of that what you will. All right, that is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Thank you so much to our 16-bit patrons, Connor McCabe, Patrice Millette, Kyle Seaborn, Drew Mackey. We appreciate you and everyone who is interacting with us on Patreon, on the Discord, listening to the show, wherever you get it. We appreciate it. Anthony DeLuca made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8-Bit Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Eller saying thank you for listening.